Hey, I can't feel no hate, like it can't penetrate. I was born to grace, so sometimes it be hard to wait for me. But I heard that faith used practically is patience, basically. So, shout out to Mello, ain't scared to make a mistake, cause we bounce back like Jello. Hold up, let me split this willow. Smoking the cut as a pillow. Scripts is all about life in my memos. I cannot lose you, way too amused by money and bitches. It got you confused, like where's purpose? You want some earth shit, moving so nervous to feel you. I told you I'm really impervious. I used to wanna be perfect, being myself is way more worth it. These verses got me emerging, world like Hershey. Young chocolate nigga in a rocket pockets overflowing, give it to my people. See trauma the root of all evil. The money we making regardless. I'm healing those dealing with charges. You know shit can get rowdy. Don't blame anybody who doubted. I know it's just harder to notice your power. Live an example. I'm winning if life is a gamble. With God ain't shit I can't handle. I'm risking it all if I have to. Dave, life don't make no guarantee. It's all up to you. All these possibilities, I'm gonna see it through. I'm gonna risk it all. I got so much faith in me, give a fuck if I'm gon' fall. If this what God done gifted me, I'ma get this shit my all, my all, my all, my all, my all. Whole world waking up, like fuck all the stories they telling us. The history wrong, I'm telling you. It's stuck in your mind and Ted on Twitter, you talking like, yeah, bruh. These bitches ain't shit, get your money up. And the women talking like they real slut. They really like it when they get fucked. They're left for dead when the baby come. Need better love, or the married one in the world where it's like a marathon and the same shit keep going on. Everybody hurt wrong. I just wanna help us all get along. No, it's gonna take more than one song, but fuck it, we gon' have to slow till we get it right. Like, I deserve better love. I know I got problems, I've been working on my nerves. I know I be tricked, time to hear the hurt. I can hear the words from my higher self saying, gon' be okay, I'll see better days. I can't make a way if I don't still be the change. It's gon' be okay, I'll see better days. I can't make a way if I don't start to be the change. Yeah, life don't need no guarantees. It's all up to you. All these possibilities, I'm gonna see it through. I'ma risk it all. I got so much faith in me, give a fuck if I'm gon' fall. If I done gifted me, I'ma get this shit my all, my all, my all, my all, my all, yeah.
What up, what up, what up? It's your boy Dave B. You watching Dave Beyond TV, where we go beyond the everyday bullshit.
Chance of changing anything. And so that should be our desire to develop ourselves so that we can and not
develop ourselves so that we can lead ourselves.
You know, highly moral or intelligent or, you know, awesome they may seem.
Are you your own?
What up, y'all? What up, what up? Like I said, it's your boy Dave B. You know what I'm saying? And for the most part, you know, she was saying some real shit. You know, we have to all be our own leaders in order to move forward in life. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's cool when we even talking about community type things, you know, of a community going smoothly and working accordingly as if we come together as our own leaders, of knowing ourselves. You know what I'm saying? That's the first step. Now, a lot of the energies that we going on, we gonna get to the astrology. So, you know, on this channel, if you're new, you know what I'm saying, just understand we use astrology just as a tool. It's not everything. It's not another religion to jump into and hide behind. This is all about taking accountability for yourself, you in the world. Again, that's you and your spirit. That's something you got to consult with your spirit. But when we get astrology, we can understand the certain energetic influences that are leading us down certain paths based upon attracting different vibration feelings. Right? Remember, feelings are not ours. They're things that we pick up from the environment. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to the vibes we feel, again, depending on the energies, that's going to determine the color of the vibrations you catch, right? You might be a certain energy frequency that don't have the same coloring as the current day. So you might go a couple more turbulent, or you have the opportunity to manifest maybe more turbulent situations than not. You know what I'm saying? Say on the days you feel like you in alignment, going your way, it's almost like, oh, I got good luck today, right? Me personally, I don't really look at it as luck. It's just you was riding a certain vibration and it seemed to match with what was going on inside of you, and so you had a smooth transition through whatever travel you was going through at the moment, experiences you was having, X, Y, Z. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to the current energies, we talking about the moon in Taurus. The moon just got into Taurus. So I'm gonna really talk about a bit about the moon being in Aries and being in Leo, it's Leo season. So when it comes to Leo season, we know to look right. It's all about what you can see. It's all about presenting yourself. It's all about expressing yourself, and you do that from the heart. We've been talking this whole time about authenticity, which comes into play really when we look at the moon and Taurus energies. You know what I'm saying? Because the moon and Taurus even, like I put in the title, right? It's quality of character, right? When we talk about Taurus energy, we're talking about quality, value, you know what I'm saying, self confidence to a degree, right? Which you have to offer to the world. So you have to, okay, what's the quality of what I'm expressing in the first place? You know what I'm saying? You said, how can I be into a good energy? That's your choice. You have to create some feelings that align with a better perspective. It's like, you got to understand life itself is a perspective game, right? So how you're looking at it is determining the feelings you're going to start to interact with. Now, the hard part is, again, you might already have a certain feeling or predisposition towards what you're experiencing based upon what you've been through and what led you to this experience in the first place, or the, you know, whatever you manifested. So, but that's the inner work you got to do in order to put you in a good place. You got to change how you see things in order for it to, again, be more optimistic. And it's like, I hate to say optimistic, because that's kind of like that a lot of people might start to look at and develop as an imagination to escape into. So you might develop a certain addiction to escapism, to always wanting to be comfortable, and that's actually not what life is about. Life ain't even trying to be in a good energy, but it is about having a good attitude about whatever experiencing. But we also have to be aware and privy to the negative things that we feel and work with those things. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Makobi. Good evening to you. Sam. So when we talk about these energies moving forward, like I said before, so the moon in so the moon currently in Taurus, but it's starting to, we're gonna pick up that energy. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna start to feel more in the beat. We're gonna feel, first of all, we're gonna feel a lot of friction. There's a lot of energies, intense energies right now. So we're gonna start to feel the friction though about basically kind of like somewhat of an ego clash. But the ego is gonna come from you deal with how you feel about yourself on a, when it comes to, you know, Taurus energy, self-value, how you value yourself. We're all going to be where the moon is at, is reacting and responding to. So everyone's reacting and responding to their own form of security, how safe they actually feel in the things that they're going through. But that clashes with Leo. Leo is all about getting on center stage and presenting yourself. That's a very raw, you know what I'm saying? It takes a lot of guts. If you ever been on a stage, or you know, again, you can lie all you want, but stepping on stage and presenting yourself, sometimes that's nerve-wracking. You know, public speaking, for instance, a lot of people don't know how to publicly, you know what I'm saying? You be in a crowd and someone call on you to say something, like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know it'd be people in your work orientation, right? All around you. These people in your job orientation when you first got the job, and it was time to go around the room and introduce everybody, introduce yourself, you know what I'm saying? Stand up, tell us yourself, your name, where you from. People be shaking in their boots standing up and just saying simple facts about themselves. That's a skill, you know, that's really good to learn. But my point is, that's a very uncomfortable energy, and it's tied to how confident you are in yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like when we think about Leo is about expressing from the heart. So it takes courage to do that. We talk about and it takes confidence, but courage and confidence, Taurus like energies as well, as far as your self-esteem and how much you value yourself. And it's almost like the way the Taurus energy is developed is by actually accomplishing real things. Like if you think energies in your second house, right? The things you can say that you have to offer to the world are things that you've spent a lot of time and energy into in order for something that's fixated, you could say, you know, something that's real, fixed earth. That's Taurus like energy. So to get to that point, that level of consistency, that's what actually builds your self-esteem, because you've been through so many experiences with it. At a point, you're like, oh no, I know this like the back of my hand. And you still might not feel like you need the glory, like, oh, I'm the best at this. But it's like you build yourself up to get to that point, to be solid on something, right? That's how you develop your self-esteem. So, but that in order to even get to the fifth house, the second house to get to the fifth house, the fifth house being Leo energy, to be able to express it, the better you are familiar with, the easier it is to express. And a lot of people don't have a lot of practice being themselves. So they get to a point where to express themselves is extremely vulnerable and feels almost like damaging, or it alerts their nervous system in a way that makes it kind of like awkward. Y'all know, again, back to the public speaking example, you know, you went to work for your first day orientation and you had to introduce yourself around the room. That feeling you have when you got to stand up when it's your turn, or when you can hear in somebody's voice the lack of confidence, you know what I'm saying? And again, low key, you know, we be root for them, like, come on, find the confidence. But it's something that we all deal with. But the better you establish an energy, aka practice that, put that into practice, and the more confident you are in that space, to where, again, you might be dead nervous. The way you present it, you were at least confident in the practice that you done, to where you didn't kind of come, you ask other people, hey, how did I do? They couldn't tell that you was nervous because of the confidence you built. You know what I'm saying? You know, so when it comes to, but not to get too deep into that, when we talking about the moon being in Taurus, it's us all reacting and responding to, you know, wanting that security. So the friction is we want to express ourselves, but we also want to feel secure. So think of it like this: if you've been dealing with insecurities, it as it's in and of itself, and now it's coming time for you to express yourself, you might hesitate on what's worth expressing and what's not worth expressing. And right now, we have to remember purpose of Leo, and this is getting into some of the reason why it's such a sensitive time at the moment, right? When we talk about Leo energy, right, the sun being in Leo and Chiron. So right now it almost feels like to express yourself is having to address certain wounds and things that in the process of healing. But you know in your heart it won't get healed unless you actually express it, unless you actually give it out to the world for it to be seen. If it doesn't get expressed, again, it's like closed mouths don't get fed. You won't receive no attention towards that thing that's still kind of, again, the level of needing to be healed. Right now, with the sun being in Leo, trining Chiron and Aries, that's all we can low-key see right now. It's things that we made as mistakes, things that we low-key see as vulnerabilities, and things that we're actually healed, where it's a lot of attention and energy. And see, you got to look at it as a gift, though. You can't look at your current situation as like kind of you can't downplay it. You know what I'm saying? You got to appreciate it for what it is. It's a gift, right? And that gift is your key out of whatever is killing your character on the inside. Because see, when we cling too much on insecurities, it leads to these self-doubts. These self-doubts develop as vulnerabilities, and abilities, our inability to express those things, become blockages. So now certain chakras are, we wonder why certain things can't move in our life, why we can't go forward in certain things. And it's down to us not addressing these certain things that's going on and getting them off of us. Because it's like you got to feel what you feel, but you also got to get it off with you. Dump it on somebody else, but it means you have to get that shit out, whether it's let people know what it is you feel, or that's forms of finding outlets to express that same thing. But see, it's not to just express it to those outlets. Once you express it from those outlets, it should become a thing where you feel maybe more collected and calm and able to then go into actual real life and communicate with whoever is around you at the moment, or whoever you need or feel compelled to communicate to. You know what I'm saying? It's like the purpose of art isn't so much to escape what we have to deal with in our actual life. You know what I'm saying? That's something that I think even like all artists should be aware of. And again, like, you know, trope thing where artists always have this tortured romance life, you know what I'm saying, where it's like, oh, to be an artist, it's like, oh, nobody's ever so close to me, da da da. No, you wasn't supposed to use that as an excuse to not connect and have healthy relationships in your life. You were supposed to use that as a helping to facilitate certain energies, you know what I'm saying? Like McCoby said, transmute energies to make it lighter, to be able to then go in your actual life and communicate and do what you need to do in life, you know what I'm saying? Because hiding behind all these different insecurities isn't helping you with your actual life. And as beautiful it is to get lost in certain things, art is one of those things that people want to get lost into. You know, art, career, same thing. People who throw themselves at they work and they work, avoiding all those real things that actually have to go on in life. Remember, you know, it's more to life than just, you know, achieving something. Sometimes it's about other things. It's really about growth. You know, the idea that, oh, I'm supposed to, you know, chase after some kind of achievement to fulfill something that really could be fixed with just a conversation. A lot of people's problem. Now, when we talk about this energy, so like I said before, the moon just got into Taurus. So let's talk a little bit about the previous moon in Aries, where we had this grand, well, actually, no, because nothing is in Sagittarius. We just had a fire between Chiron and the North Node and the Sun. What else is in Leo? I think Mercury just got it. Virgo. It's Venus. I think Venus is in Leo type shit. Oh, you know, when it comes to how we see things and what we love and appreciate, also love and appreciate needing to be expressed. You know what I'm saying? We needing to express what we relate to and what we value. Most part, it was a trine with the moon in Aries, right? Sun in Leo was us feeling ourselves, right? So Aries is a very individual. It's all about the individual. It's all about passion, Mars, and you know, initiating a new way to feel and see. So we're going through a bunch of rapid emotional changes, but at the same time, we're trying to express one collective of all those things, a fixated version of all different frustrations we might be dealing with at the moment. You know what I'm saying? So this was an energy for you to kind of, it's a power boost energy where it kind of would, on a positive end, planting good seeds will lead you down certain that may have charged you up, right? Charge you up to have the courage to express yourself. And so when you're stepping up to this new energy with the moon in Taurus, it's like you should have been charging yourself up with the moon in Aries. That should have been you charging yourself up, however that did to look. Because it might have looked like you going through a turbulent situation, but the reaction to it, right? You had the power in the reaction to create a new way to see and feel about it. And then the sun was supposed to carry that out by staying fixated on it. So it was like that rawness you felt. You're supposed to take that and see where it led you. You know what I'm saying? Or at least see it for what it is. You know what I'm saying? All these passionate feelings. And right now, it's all about really, I'm kind of glad you said that, Mako, because it's all about figuring out how to direct that. And everybody's kind of dealing with that in their own life. It's like, how do I actually express all these things? How do I actually get this off my chest? And the more close it is to how you truly feel and what's on your heart, it'll be in the long run. But at the current moment, it's going to feel like a lot of clashing, feel like a lot of things needing to be addressed. And see, it doesn't help that Mercury is now in Virgo, even though, but the good thing about Mercury in Virgo is that that's where Mercury is exalted at, right? So on the negative end, a lot of overcritical, but at the same time, right, that level of criticism and analyzation of certain details in your life, especially the way you express yourself and how you want about certain things, these things are going to lead you to better ways to not only express yourself, but through that expression, getting everything out on the table, you're going to be able to make these adjustments in your life and address certain things that's just not working in plain sight. It's like, this is just not working. Whether or not this is how it's got to be, it's like you can at least say, okay, this is not working. And now instead of just kind of going along with it because you expressed it, it's like, okay, well, now it's a point of interest to adjust it, whether you're gonna, and that is up to you. And see, that's what a lot of the Mercury retrograde is gonna get into. You know, we in a shadow period right now. It hasn't gone retrograde, but I think it's in a couple of days. If it should in a couple of days, I think. And what's going to happen with that, it's going to be you going through different thought forms and rethinking certain ways you used to go about expressing certain things, rethinking certain ways you used to think about whatever it is that you had going on. And again, that could look like, you could look at the different areas of your life and understand specifically maybe where these things is going to be concentrated at, right? Because in life it's funny because even though, so in life in general, it can play out in many different ways, right? And what I mean by that is this. It's like based upon the area of life that these transits are going through, it might be what is going on, but it can filter and leak into many different aspects of your life. You know what I'm saying? So like, for instance, you might have that Virgo in the 7th house. So it's affecting you rethinking about relationships, but it can play out. It's going to play out in something you're trying to relate to or your inability to relate to it. But then what you're going to see is it's going to crop up in other ways to remind you to readdress to that same area of life. So it's something dealing with how you're relating, and all of a sudden it's like you having a hard time having something going on in your career in the way you want it, based upon again, you haven't addressed this relationship that might be in a total other space, but then it led to your inability to relate to certain coworkers. And then all of a sudden it's like, damn, I'm having a roadblock or having to rethink my whole career path, even though the inner your seventh house, and it's really something you have to address with the way you're relating, or what you're relating to, or what you're trying not to relate to, or what you're too critical trying to, if y'all get what I'm saying. So you have to look at the area of life, but then be aware of what pops up into other areas that you might, it's like, you know that, okay, like for instance, with the example I just gave, you could try to fix things in your career, right? But even if you put a, it's like almost like the equivalent of Band-Aid on it. What you really got to address is your overall way of relating, not how you relating to your coworker. But through that Band-Aid, you start to see this is how the universe kind of work with you, because it's giving you hints to go into that. You might just, because see, what happens is a lot of times where we have concentrated energies, you have to understand wherever there's transits going on, that's where things are getting deeper. And if you a person, let's say you're not really, you want to address everything that's truly going on deep down. So what happens is it plays out as surface level things. But when it's surface level, it's almost like an energy of being indirect. So it's like wherever the transits are, that's where it's getting deep. But you're not really addressing that. And so you trying to go other ways around it. But you still going to go through experiences that throw you right back, throw that main thing right back in your face. Be like, no, this is the actual transit we have to address. You know what I'm saying? You might try to find another way around it. You know what I'm saying? Because wherever the transits are at, that's where we're being attracted to see certain things. That's where of the planets as lights, right? These are where there's light, and where there's light, there's awareness. And it's almost like if you were to be in a dark room, but let's say your door is open, you in a dark room, and someone cut the light on in the hallway, you're gonna see that light. And so as spirits, we kind of low key are drawn to see what's going on. You're gonna want to see what's going on in that hallway. You might feel like, I don't really want to get too deep in the hallway though, so I'm gonna try to go maybe out my window and around the house. But it's like, no matter how you try to go around, it's still right back to where that light is, because you're trying to see. It's like you trying to see what's going on in the hallway without actually just going to the hallway, if that makes sense. Hopefully, I know I'm talking in a Pisces way during a time where Mercury is in Virgo, so I don't know, you know, hopefully the message still coming through clear. But you know, that's what it is. And even when I say shit like that, we really all energies. It's just energies you favor more than other ones. That's the ones you pick to come to here down and express yourself as. So we all, you know, we jump into all signs and stuff like that. But the lighter you are, the more aware you become, the less pinned down you to just your energy, and that makes you more well-rounded. In life, you got to understand it's about relating. You know what I'm saying? On in your journey, that's the thing. Oh, it's my energy. So a lot of times it takes you going to the extreme in who you think you are. So you might overdo your energy, just trying to experiment and seeing how far you actually want to go with it. But everybody comes to a certain point where they realize, oh, astrology is pointing me towards understanding the desires I had and what was actually leading me to be stuck in a certain loop and cycle. And the actual truth is to expand out of what my natal chart says, so that you can, and that's the point of transits. When you actually ride the current, you add new awarenesses that help you get out of yourself, equivalent to in real life traveling to different cultures or different countries to learn different cultures, so that when you come back, you more worldly, you have a better openness and awareness of other people's ways of life. So you're not going to be the first person to be prejudiced to a certain person, because you're going to start to understand their culture. You're going to be like, oh shit, I know why they do that. That's all Sagittarius, like energy expansion. But getting back to the to what we talking about, you know, the moon in Aries was like a supercharge, right? A charge to our character. And it was about expressing it, getting it out. You know what I'm saying? Letting that be seen. But it's really all about being true to you. That led us here though. This is where the friction is. The friction is coming from what was once secure is no longer secure anymore. It's actually time to express ourselves and be seen. It's almost like once something is seen now, it's open to judgment. So we have to deal with being seen. our values being seen. Basically, our values are now on center stage, and our values is like things that we can't hide, because it's how we carry, you know, it plays out in parts of ourselves, you know, what we choose to focus on, what we choose to not focus on. So this is where ego classes could come in, because you start to be aware of where your values and someone else's values may not align. So again, but that's not the end of the world. A lot of that could lead to better overall understandings of both parties. You agree or agree to disagree, you know what I'm saying? So there needs to be, and then remember, Mars is in Gemini, so it's like everything at this moment in time, Mars is in Gemini along with Jupiter. So right now, a lot of conversations need to be had, and they might get aggressive. They might be, you know, they might be led with passion, but that passion still needs to be logical. You know what I'm saying? It can't just be you making up stuff and you just mad because, again, you seeing things wrong. It's got to be, you know, it's all about, you know, at least communicating through that passion for a better understanding, but allows to be up for debate. You know what I'm saying? And being willing to kind of have to go for that back and forth just to get to clarity. Because right now everybody is like, it's starting to be a thing where everybody's trying to get to the clear point. Like, what's the clarity of this? You know, and a lot of that was what's the word? A lot of that was brought about from the moon being, the sun being opposite Pluto, because we was seeing transformation. We was seeing ways in which we needed to reflect that transformation. We needed to, you know, it's like, damn, like, oh no, I really need to change. And we were kind of feeling that pressure, right, to take power and control over something. And see, now we're on the other side of that opposition, where we get to a point where it's like, no, in order for me to actually get to the fullness of my transformation, I need to actually express what in my life is me feel like I want to be stagnant, or making me feel like it's keeping me stagnant. See, when you say that though, you got to remember it's you. You could be like, oh, there's people around me that's keeping me stagnant. You got to understand, no, it's still you though. You keeping yourself stagnant. What about these people and the way y'all relationship is set up that's leading to you to make choices stagnant? You know, and part of that first getting out of that rut is gonna look like some Leo shit. It's gonna look like some Aries shit. I feel like Aries really sparked that off, because it got to a point where you can't hide that raw character. So that had to come out in whatever way it had to come out, and sometimes that might not be the most favorable way. You know what I'm saying? Luckily, we had that energy trining Venus. It was somewhat, you know, it was somewhat for the sake of your values. So if you was aligned and planting the right seeds, that means it was a truth. So how you did it, again, it still might not have gotten the best reception, but you feel better by getting it off, because you know it was aligned with what you value and what you actually want to see in your life more consistently. So again, that ain't got nothing to do with others and stuff. That's between you, and you can now look in your mirror and respect yourself, knowing that hey, I expressed my heart though. I might have been looked at crazy. They might not have understood what I said. Shit, I said what I said, and that was that. And the same thing for other people though. And you can feel it when someone is saying something to you where you don't quite like you can tell that what was behind it was actually raw though. It was true. It was a person willing to give you that, you know, rawness. And that's what make the Aries like very kind of come off very trustworthy and stuff like that, because that rawness, it starts to be like a conclusion in your mind, like, damn, they so quick with it. I don't even think they had enough time to come up with a lot. Like the way they was quick with it and how passionate it was and how it felt, I don't even think they got enough time on their hands to lie or finesse. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that Aries can't be on that type of time, because they quick, fast talkers on that end, but again, you can feel it when it's coming from a place where, damn, a person must really have felt that. You know what I'm saying? I see who they are now. I see more of their individuality now. And right now, we got to remember, individuality is key right now. It's a very valuable energy. Even if you turning that energy into something you create, right, and expressing it, that energy in and of itself is very powerful. You know, that's how people are getting rich at the moment. It's just themselves to the utmost degree at the right angle, and it take off. You know what I'm saying? Even that girl that got famous for some bullshit, she was just expressing herself at the right place, right time, and it got clipped and turned into a viral moment. And again, now she got an opportunity, and people, you know what I'm saying, you can choose mad all you want, but again, don't get mad. Just understand that's the game. You know what I'm saying? Don't get mad at the way it's set up and how, you know what I'm saying? Just, but, you know, I get getting mad at it though, because when we even talk about changing the world and shit like that, it's these systems that are designed like this that lead to people kind of going to the extreme. And then even though this was a very innocent situation, it, you know, the way things escalate on social media and shit, or just in this world, the way things are set up currently, I say in social media, and it feels like I'm saying the world trying to build this shit, and that's crazy though to think about. But if you really look at it, like, they've designed a whole world online, you know what I'm saying? And really, we designed it, but now they're trying to regulate it. And you can start to see now in the very nuanced ways where there are these boxes, you know what I'm saying, where you jump on certain apps and you just feel the vibration of what this app for, based upon what they're trying to use it for. You know what I'm saying? Even the way people interact with you, like how I can go on live on this app. I gotta filter through the first, you know, 10 minutes or so, because it be bots and shit like that in here. People who it's nobody behind that computer, or if it is, it's somebody off of, you know, you don't know what's going on. Nowadays, AI could be in your, it's just madness, you know. But my point is, they made a whole, you know, this whole, they're trying to make this whole structure, and that's the whole point even of trying to understand even what community is and the purpose of it. The community purpose also is to help not rely on another system created to keep people boxed in. What up, Pedro? You know what I'm saying? Keep people boxed in. You know what I'm saying? If I got people in my actual community right outside that is on my same wavelength, right, the same communicating or chopping it up with online, then it don't matter what's going on, because understand that all of this stuff is regulated. The only thing that can't be regulated is real life. Yeah, you could throw a camera up, but you can't prevent some certain manner like you can online. AKA, I could turn your money off. But it's like, if my next door neighbor and me have a community together, and we're trading different things physically that don't have nothing to do with some kind of online credit card or this, that, and the third, we can still do business, whether we use actual or not, whether we use their legal tender or not. You know what I'm saying? We can still get what we need done as business, as far as exchanging, and get our ID, you know, without having to wait on, oh, because they turn my credit card off, I can't pay for the rent on this building to keep the land and property, take it on, you know what I'm saying? All these weird, you know what I'm saying, boxing moves, you know, start looking like Missy Elliott and shit like that. You be like, oh no, who is that? Lil' Kim. You know what I'm saying? All that dumb shit, having to do all these loopholes, just trying to get to your goal and shit. And you know, and I'm simplifying that process, but that's the key of it, you know what I'm saying? And if you can't see right now how things are starting to be limited, how things are trying, or you know, how they're trying to regulate certain things that they know they ain't really got no control over at the moment. You already know, like, how you can get on these, again, like everybody will say the same thing, these apps used to be a completely different thing. You know, Instagram, you really could only just put a picture up. It wasn't no swipe, it wasn't, you know, scroll, it wasn't no you know, videos or nothing like that. These apps was completely different things. But again, same time, at the same time, we can't bitch and complain about these things. We got to look at them as tools. You know, oh, this is just how they run it. You know, one thing about Saturn is simple. It's not simple to do on, but it's simple in concept. And it's all about understanding the system and operating the system how it go. If you do the system how the system is built, you'll get the reward. You know what I'm saying? If you put the work in, you get the reward. Get it when you want it, but you will get it, you know, or get something that will compensate for that time you spent. But there is such thing as making bad investments with time. It's another story. You know what I'm saying? You got to make the right investments with your time, because time is finite. You can't get that shit back. You know, very powerful resource. It says South Node Cap, so you know all about that shit. South Node is what we mastered. So you mastered certain Capricorn-like perspectives and concepts, in a sense. You know, it might not be in all ways where, you know, oh, you know how some astrologers be like, oh, because South Node in Capricorn, you're always gonna bitch. That's not like that, but you understand certain Capricorn concepts as a whole. You know what I'm saying? It might even be dealing with them and forced, you know what I'm saying? That might be forms of comfort or feelings making you feel like, damn, that was old stuff. But kind of like an energy of like, for some reason it's giving me the energy of, not to say this you, but this is the energy, right? Let's say when you was young, you was broke, but you yourself up to be successful, right? And it's almost like you'll choose to be broke again, and it's like certain things that happen and you'll choose to be broke again because that low-key make you feel comfortable, because you know I can build myself and win again. So it's almost like I can see that energy kind of playing out with South Node and Cat, where it's like you done been there so many times at a broke space and built yourself up. That's like a thing now. You'll throw yourself in a broke state just build up again, because that's comfort. Because it's like you learned so many things when you was building yourself up, and you know you can repeat it. That confidence level, you like, man, I mastered this. And it doesn't have to be money wise. It could be anything. It could be even, say you got it in 7th house, it could be relationships. You know, a person who's like, you know, you get so deep relationship, but you like jumping back into that single space and you know, kind of, or having a certain argument with your partner, right? That puts you in a space where you like to build yourself back up. And that's something too about relationships too, like, because Saturn is exalted in the 7th house, right? One thing, and I'd say the similar thing with relationships. They are simple in concept, hard to do the work. But if you do this, if y'all build a system, because it's all about relating, how y'all relate. If y'all build a system to relate to each other that works for y'all, that's a successful. If you build a system that don't, or if the system y'all got don't work for both y'all, you're gonna have problems until you get to a point. And again, that's where compatibility comes in. Because if it comes down the line that every system we build ain't, you know, it's like, damn, every system we build, no one can come to no agreement in and of itself, lets you know that might need to, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. He said it goes in cycles. I'm just starting a new career in tennis business. Okay. After 7 years in banks, it's a new cycle. Right. Exactly. Business. Like you, and that's that energy. You like, shit, I got it. You know what I'm saying? Low key, even though it might be uncomfortable shit, but that's your soft node. Soft node is where we low key feel like we mastered that shit. We like, yeah. He said, oh yeah. Yeah. So that's fun for you in a way. And it might be very hard work, but that's fun for you on some level, you know. That's dope though, the tennis business. I don't know anything about the tennis business. You know, yeah, move, redo, exactly. Pluto stuff, you know, and that's healthy. Now, when, you know, healthy for you. Now, some other person with a different Pluto, that might not be healthy for them, but that's healthy for you, like a Pluto in Cancer. That should have killed them inside. They're like, I ain't trying to rebuild, no. But yeah, but getting into so, you know, the moon, and let's talk about the moon in Taurus a little bit more. Taurus, moon is exalted in Taurus, so it's going to be a heightened feeling. Well, so a heightened sense of value, or a heightened sense of devalue. You might not feel like you're valued at the moment, or not, and therefore you don't feel secure in whatever circumstance you in. So that might be difficult, and you could look at what house you in, but depending on what you actually going through in real life, it might be something playing out in that experience. But at the same time, there might be rooted in something going on in that house you got Taurus in, you know, and say you got multiple houses that Taurus is in. As the moon travels through, it'll be a kind of like a summation of all of those spaces in a sense. But not to make it too complicated. Sometimes I know when we talk about this shit, at this point, I know new people come in and everybody's kind of on a different comprehension level. So I don't want to breeze through something because I understand what I'm saying and it don't actually be, you know, but I feel as though at the same time, y'all listen to it enough times, y'all kind of catch the flow of it. But basically, you know, when we're talking about this moon energy in Taurus, what it's doing with the sun, it's a square. So it's really about learning at the end of the day. You're really trying to learn to express yourself with that high self-esteem, or how to express yourself in a way that, you know, there's a level of, I could say that, you know, whether it's expressing your values, because it's like, you look at it like when you do get certain things off, and you do, you know, you fight through certain uncomfortable things, it makes you feel better about yourself. You know, it's like I'm glad I said the thing. You know, at least I said it, or at least I did this. You know, it's like we all trying to do that. But so that's kind of like the relationship between it. It's like you have to learn how to express yourself, express what you value. You can express that and express it like you standing on it. You know, that's the best way I could put it. It's like express it like you standing on it. Now, if you're, the way this is going to look like bad seeds is if you're expressing things that's not really true, things that value, or you're avoiding expression and the friction it might bring. Because when you're expressing your values, by default, you're going to clash with somebody else's value. But that's not the end of the world. It's the starting point of learning process, or it's really just a starting point of a learning process. Because even if it does go negative, you still learn. You know what I'm saying? It's still learn that becomes something that breaks down or clashes in a way that becomes catastrophic. You still learn. You know what I'm saying? But it's up to you to decide, like the person who was asking, how do we be energy? It's up for you to decide whether or not you take them thoughts and feelings and construct something for you. Or if you take that and make it a personal attack and drag yourself down and become these feelings to the point where you can't move no more. You stagnate. You basically are destroying yourself faster because you're embodying something that wasn't meant to be embodied in the first place. That's what they mean when they using your mind for things it wasn't made for. So it's in a sense you're abusing yourself. It's like a form of self-harm. To overthink about this is a form of self-harm because you're keeping yourself in that form. Now, again, there's different ways to do that though, because sometimes, let's say you're reminiscing on something at one point in time. The thing about it is, if you use that energy to, because see, sometimes you got to go back and feel something again, just understand it from a new perspective after you've grown through it, right? And it might hurt, but you're doing that to get to a better point. Curve system where you're going back into yourself, but you're still trying to come out above what it is that you was experiencing. You just went there for a purpose. You went a little bit more to, you know what I'm saying? That's a real thing. So it's not about, you know, and when we go through experiences, we gotta feel it, but it should always, you know, a purpose to that, you know, or a point to that, or maybe, you know, I don't want to say a point to feel, but I mean, I guess that really is. It's like a point to feel what it is, but then also make it another point to transmute that, to get into a new space in order for you to grow, you know what I'm saying, or and heal. Like that's the actual active process of healing. Like you have, you know, you the pain, but it's like how like your body get a cut and you heal yourself, right? Like at first when you get the cut, you're gonna giving it all kinds of attention, but you know, as time goes on, you know, you get used to having it, the pain sensor, it kind of lessens on some, so, you know, so I know some wounds is not like that, but for the analogy, the most part, like let's say you just got a little cut, eventually you kind of forget it a little bit because, you know, you've been aware of it for so long that now you can, you know, start to operate it almost as if it's not there. You might still it's there because it still stings, but it's like you've learned how to move around injury. So by the time you give it attention again, you realize, oh shit, okay, there's a scab on it. If you can still not give it as much energy that you did before, that scab eventually, like, you know, seep into your skin. You know what I'm saying? Because again, if you're giving it energy, that's like pick scab. You know what I'm saying? That's the self-harm I was talking about, where you picking that scab. It's like it's in the process of healing, but instead of allowing the time in between it and, you know, experiencing other things to give more to this, but still not giving it focus. So this would be equivalent in actual life, right? Say something that you went through a harsh experience, you going through it, but you get into a point where it's like, okay, the thoughts and feelings I had, I'm not over analyzing those things. I'm trying to develop new thoughts and feelings, aka I'm taking my mind off the injury and I'm just trying to go about life in general, right? Eventually that shit gonna seep into your skin, gonna be healed. You know what I'm saying? But it's a practice. And then you can think back about, oh, damn, I did cut myself that one time, you know, but you will be so far beyond it. It's like, that's how you kind of allow things to heal. But it's a back and forth process, because you're aware of it, but you just not giving it the same type of attention, aka picking that shit. You know what I'm saying? Now, in a sense, like, so that's kind of what I'm saying about this friction. Is like, you want to go through the friction, but you don't want to you know, you don't want to allow that shit to become you. You don't want to identify too much with that pain. You want to kind of get yourself to that space where you're like, okay, let's move beyond this. You said South Northern Taurus. He said South Northern Taurus, you might have been rich or always will be. That's cool. I'm a South Northern Taurus too. He said, but you gotta be a Scorpio. That's your North Node, right? And the Scorpio in the North really just what you actually trying to grow into, which is why, like, you can't stay in your South Node energy for too long. Eventually, something that you overcome. Like, even for the Capricorn energy, it's like to get to a Cancer-like space where you make a home out of something, some form of a comfort out of something, you know. But that'll be the hard, uncomfortable thing for you to do. And then for Taurus South Node, South Node to Taurus, it really is like a coming from a place of, you know, fixed value. So yeah, like, it can be a sense of self-worth, you know what I'm saying, stable, or a sense of security. Like, you come from a place of security, you know how to secure yourself. But what you're trying to get used to into is like that Scorpio energy, which is throwing yourself into unknown, the darkness, have deeper into certain things to the point where you have to be vulnerable with it and transform. You know, that's why even what you said about transmuting, using, you know, to transmute, that's highly important for that node alignment. But yeah, so with the that friction that's coming from the energy, right? You know, that's all we're going through. So the moon is also going to be trining Mercury. So that's also thinking about how we feel, thinking about what's secure and what's not secure. And we know Mercury, this in Virgo, is going to be criticizing these things. It's going to be pointing and painting to what's not actually working. So this is a gift too. This is a gift to really start to lay it on the table of what's not working for you. And this could be the start of you coming to conclusions on how to go about things. So again, that's going on with the sun is actually trying to shape your character into something more of value. You know what I'm saying? That friction you're going through kind of sharpen your character up, you know. And that's even what I mean by quality actor, because it's like, it's the opportunity, or it's the learning process of what it's going to take to actually sharpen your form of expression up. And it again, the moon trining Mercury is already analyzing what's not secure, what's not stable and sustainable with this way about things. And that could be anything you're trying to do. Now the moon also is going to be Uranus, so emotional changes, you know what I'm saying, radical changes about how we feel, based upon what's going on in reality. The moon is also sextiling Saturn, so this is an opportunity though to start to make opportunity between, it's almost like seeing the reality of what's secure in your life too, because it's like some things could have been secure at one point, but that sextile is the opportunity to start to feel. It's almost like it might have looked stable or it might look secure, but how it feels though, does it feel stable? Does it feel secure? Does it feel like reality? Because Saturn and Pisces is more like, does it feel like reality though, or does it feel like a schism? So this might be one of those, it's a sextile, so it's like it can be beneficial, but just because it's a sextile doesn't mean it will be. You know, it could be an opportunity too for you to want to escape into maybe the comfort aspect, because that's also what the moon wants to do too. The moon wants to be comfortable, so the moon might not want to address certain things. And again, that's that friction with the sun and Leo needing it to look like expression. You know what I'm saying? It needs it to be expressed, but let's say this sextile makes you more comfortable with just being passive and maybe not saying anything, because you might not be confident. You might not be confident about what it is that you actually want to say, because you don't feel secure, or what it looked like, it don't feel the same way as that. It might look like you composed with it, but you really don't got the idea behind it. You don't got the feeling to make you feel comfortable with going all the way through. You know, you rather just kind of keep to yourself so you can kind of stay in this kind of comfort. Again, that might be illusion. That might be just you in your own world and not you actually seeing if it's real. Because when you throw something out into the world, that's when you get to see if it start to relate what's going on inside of you. You get frame of references from outside, and not everybody want to do that. And see, right now is a time we might avoid that as well, just because Saturn is squaring Mars. So we already know our passions and our ability to communicate is passion with what we imagine and how we want things to go, our dream, aka either making it harder for us to say what it is we're trying to build, about it. We're going through the friction of learning what the words are behind dream about, or what's the words on behind how I feel. And this energy is squaring Neptune, so we're getting frustrated about how we go about in our dreams, and we're highly aware of who's not agreeable with the way our dream is. You know what I'm saying? We imagined it like this, so when we start communicating it and people be like, wait, but what about this? And start to, it may, you know, show any sign analyzing it. And again, this energy is opposite Mercury, and Mercury is exalted now. And so you got kind of this esoteric battle going on between, and this going on internally, and it could be playing externally. But it's like the Virgo energy, you're gonna have Mercury exalted in a retrograde state eventually, right? But exalted in Virgo, and then it's gonna be opposite Saturn in Pisces and Neptune in Pisces. So it's like, this is that way you really see, damn, this thing I was in low-key a fucking illusion. Damn, I gotta rebuild the whole thing again. And it might start to make you feel highly upset, angry, wanna burn everything down. But it's like, at the same time, like I keep on saying, and I don't know why this little excerpt is coming out every two minutes, every 30 minutes, but it's like, that's not the end of the world though. You know what I'm saying? And you can't be afraid of that process. It's like, and again, it might not even be the way you think. And that's another thing too, because you might think I gotta rebuild the whole thing, and it might actually not be that. You know what I'm saying? It might actually be more like, hey, if you just adjust this and then this with good faith, you could actually get what you want. You know what I'm saying? Or it'll look a lot better. And that's what you got to understand with energy. It's going to hit hard because it's going to start to see, like, it's almost like you can already feel it now, where you start to see every little thing that's not quite in alignment with, hey, this ain't working, this ain't working, this ain't working. Before you know it, too many things to point out to, you know, lose confidence, lose steam, and that hurts your ability to express. But again, by, you know, if you can fight through that little back and forth and choose to still commit to it, and the only way you're gonna have the willpower to do that is coming from your heart. If it's some shit you really don't care about, it's not gonna be that. It's gonna be something you choose to just let go. You like, I just let that shit go. Need that shit on my heart. That shit too heavy. You said facts. I finished my vid. Shout out to Ton of Vision. He said I finished my vid. Said it like, are you putting the character out that you want to reap attention for? Right, exactly. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be it to see it type shit. It's like, if you can't even embody it, how is anybody else gonna have an idea of what it is? And that right there is so crucial, because if you don't kick that shit off, it's gonna come off like it's like if you don't express it in the, and you gotta be aware of where you may not fully be able to embody what you think, but you have to, that's part of knowing who you are and like loving who you, not to be all like, you know, hallmarking this shit, but like, you gotta love yourself enough to know like, hey, that's enough though. Like if this is all and I know it, I'm putting it out there, you gotta be cool with that just being what it is. And don't try to overcompensate with false expression. Try to, yeah, hallmark and shit, but you feel me? Like, this ain't no fucking, you know, feel good sympathy card. No, this is like, you said about these, yeah, that's the new shit. That, we got hallmarking, we got LSS, lazy or lost spirit syndrome. But yeah, but getting back on point, it's like, you know, that little, you can't compensate who you really are for what you think is going to get the best reaction, especially not in Leo season, because it's different. You might have been able to get away with that in Cancer season, where everybody was too emotional to really notice. You might have been able to get away with that in Gemini season. You could talk such a good game, we didn't really pay attention to what you did. You could maybe talk that in Taurus season, you know what I'm saying, back in Taurus, because nobody was really popping out back then. But now it's different. We in Leo season. Everybody sees you, so you can't throw up a false character and not follow through. That's gotta be you. It's gotta be you behind it, or else you're not even gonna have the willpower to bring about a believable character at that. You know what I'm saying? There's an in conjunction between Sun in Leo and Neptune in Pisces, and Saturn in Pisces. So that shit not, honestly, that shit not even gonna work in your reality. The way you trying to build it, the way you trying to set it up, it's not gonna translate how you think it is. And that little because it's gonna be a misunderstanding, and you're gonna start to get frustrated at the misunderstanding. Like, why is it not clicking? And it's because, again, you got to reassess your character and act like ton of, you know, what are you expressing? What he say? I want to get the exact word he said. Ah, shit, I lost it. But yeah, y'all heard what oh yeah, he said, are you putting the character out that you want to reap attention for? Because you might be doing what you doing, you know. Hold on, you said Equilibria, shout out to you. You said my Mercury and Mars and Virgo. I feel this right now. You said, what if you don't have an audience? So obtaining an audience, right? You try to think about what kind of audience would you want, you know. And so even without that question, it's like, honestly, in my opinion, to build an audience is, you know, like how we've been saying, right? Not give you a very basic answer, but being yourself, right? But it's ways to go about it, right? So it takes consistency. We got to see you doing the same thing. The audience, we got to see you doing the same thing. And it doesn't have to be, again, of course, you want to make it unique, but how you build it is, it's almost like, think about it like this. Let's say you was in a house and you got this backyard. You open the backyard for anybody to join, right? You go, and then let's say you made it a stage for yourself. So whatever you do creatively, you do on that stage, and at first be in that front yard. But if you go out every day, every night, at the same time, and again, I'm saying same time, but it's like you just consistently putting together some kind of show, whether somebody show up or not, really somebody walking by is gonna be like, damn, I wonder what's going on over there. And then what happens is, right, let's say you got 1 or 2 people that come into the yard for a show. Then it's about connecting with them. You know what I'm saying? Like interacting with them, saying what's up. Hey, you know, especially if they keep coming back, right? Because this establishes a relationship. So I think of it like a relationship. Like, and you want, really what you want is, you're putting things out that you enjoy to attract people who enjoy the same things you enjoy and like to see you do it. So, you know, building an audience is like, but again, there's many different ways to build an audience, because you could build an audience off expressing something that you don't truly believe in, that's not truly you. For instance, like, let's say you trying to be like, I know you sing, right? Let's say the type of music that you think will get attention is the start of music that you try to do, but the music you really want to do, you be like, that's not gonna get a lot of attention. You might be right though, right? You might be right. But the thing about it is, if you put the false image up, that's the audience you're gonna attract. At a certain point, you're gonna want to do your favorite songs. Now, if the favorite type of songs, when you start putting, say you built a fan or an audience out of people who like that shit you put out just to get the world popping, right? Just did that stuff that you did to, you know, I just want to go for the viral moment. You're going to build an audience of people who look at you in that lens. So when you bring the true you out, everybody going to be confused. Now, few people might stay, but again, it even makes it more nerve-wracking for you out at a certain point, you know. But again, it's all about how you want to play the game. Other way to play it though is, let's say from the very start, you start with what you truly like to do, and you can get creative because you can use elements from what is popular but make it your own. And that's you creating a whole new mixture of something. Now all of a sudden it's like the people say, oh wow, I ain't even never seen it done like this before. You know what I'm saying? That's how you build, and you know, that kind of, that helps, because now people are familiar with what you do, And you got to value the very few people with you at the start. And then the more you do it consistently, though, the more people will attract to you. Kind of like I was saying about, I caught, whoa, I didn't know you could zoom in this mud. Hold on. It's too close, too close, too close. All right, cool. But hopefully that actually answers the question. I know I'm all over the place. But, you know, building an audience is really about just setting up shop. And you got to think about it. If you were to set up a shop, how can I make the seats comfortable so people want to stay longer? You know what I'm saying? In theory, you know what I'm saying? And he said Saturn. Shout out to Jackie New. She said Saturn Reek song about to jump. Okay. Hey, you know, say y'all go check. You know, also doing collaboration helps too. Like if there's artists that you admire and you like to be, that you like, and that y'all can come together and make collaboration too. That helps get your range, you know what I'm saying? Because now you're introduced to their audience. So now they click on your page and be like, oh, what's that person do? You know, and vice versa, you know what I'm saying? And that becomes a partnership thing too, because, you know, that's how it should work. You know, y'all, it should be some kind of equal partnership for promoting each other on each other's channels. And, you know, same thing that we be doing, where I'll go live on Mooney's channel, Ton of Vision. You know what I'm saying? We go live on each other's channel, or we do a collaboration where now my people, or I share their post on my page where now they can see. But you know what I'm saying? Well, you know, oh, okay, I see y'all, you know, so let me click on this because I like this person too. You know, and that helps too, because that's like a word of mouth, you know, which is harder than most marketing campaigns, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, hopefully that helped. But yeah, shout out Makobe. He said the passion is the fuel. He said you did have to be your own or find and create one. Yeah, right. Hey, yeah, Jackie said you and JD collab. Okay, yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? Some good collaboration energy. You know, also, you know, there's many different ways to go about it. Like, you got to think about what you like to do. Because, like, I'll give an example. You said Leo plus Leo energy makes Aquarius. Yeah, something unique. I was going to, like, for an example, like, what I like to do, I just like making it work. And so, you know, when you know, depending on what you like, because some people might like making one-off songs, some people might like doing covers. Find what you like and then just have fun with it. Like, and the thing about it is, like, I look at it like building an audience is almost like second nature. It's almost something to think about for real. And I get what you're saying. Leo energy makes Leo energy, because it's like, it makes Aquarius, because it's like you build a community around what you are entertained by. You know what I'm saying? Like, think of a book club. That's like a fifth house energy. You enjoy books, so you went and got with a community of people who enjoy books. So however you like to do your music, and if you could find and then, you know, do it how you like it, and then create a visual around it in the style in which, you know, even if it ain't looking like how everybody else do their videos, that's the more like that, better. Because if you get into that world and you design it nicely, it's almost like every time somebody click on your work, they're going to get introduced to that world. And so they'll look around and be like, yo, this shit fire. I want to come back to this world, you know, and I want to come back to this. And that's how they also, you know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah, okay. He said, I just wanted to collab with you real quick. I just dropped the motivational dice video on say and general. Okay. But yeah, you know, say you design that world, people come into that world, they be like, oh no, I like to kick it here, you know what I'm saying? And that's like them wanting to hear more of your music back and back and back. And you know, when they're in that world, you treat them nicely. You be a good host, you know what I'm saying? Like, keep them updated, be like, oh, okay, yeah, let me, you know, give you a sneak peek of this song and stuff like that. And you could develop that how you want, because you just got to know how you want to host your, if you was to throw a party, how would you host it? You know, that's kind of like how your brand should start to develop, you know, as your, you know, and then you, again, think about the way you spell your name and how the colors you use is like different things inside your house. Every brand is like a house, you know, every artist, even though like you might not see yourself as a brand, but think of you a vibe, you know what I'm saying? Especially if, you know, what you do is creative, you are a vibe. So a vibe is a world in a sense. So That's the reason why people will listen to you rather than SZA. You know what I'm saying? SZA cool, but I like the world that Equilibrium built. So let me go to that world. I want to spend more time there. You know, that's how you become somebody's favorite artist. And that ground level development, and especially if you just being a, you know, we in a new time. Back then, it was a, you know, they had a whole aura of like this untouchable energy between, you know, celebrities and who they make music for. And you see how that hindered them now, you know. And again, maybe it worked at that time, and I think it did work at that time, because if you think about it, like an example I was giving about Ja Rule, where this dude who made some hits is just openly disrespected for no reason, like just catching strays. And it's like, back then though, you know, talk like that about, you know, people. You didn't talk like that about people in general. But in today's time, you know, it's real it's high key, like different, and it's about establishing a more, you know, direct to consumer relationship with who you make stuff for. You know what I'm saying? Like the ability to go live, being able to have a conversation with y'all in real time. Like that 10 times better. I love when people come. I'm like, oh yeah, whoo, you know what I'm saying? Let's get it. And you was right. Somebody said I need to do an open panel, and I'm gonna work on that. But for the most part, like, you know, we in a new time where, you know, it's the people who are genuine. You know, the authenticity right now is the most valuable resource. Uranus and Taurus, I keep saying that shit because it's, you know, being able to connect to the people who like what you do. You know, you couldn't be, it's so many possibilities now, because it's like that person that like your song all the way in China, you know, you spend some time just to back to them saying, yo, I really like your song. You take some time to reply to them. They know a whole gang who know how to build apps, and all of a sudden now you in collaboration with somebody just because you had the time to connect with them because they like what you like, and y'all realize the same thing. Now it can go negative, you know what I'm saying, is it be weird, people in your DM being weird, bots and stuff like that. And that's what they're really using to infiltrate people on this level, content creators and things like that, because they know, we, again, depending on where you come from and where your heart is, they know that's one of the ways they can get into y'all circles. If they make some kind of online character and either throw hate at you, or you know, that kind of fake love energy where it be a person and you don't really know if they real and shit like that, and they all talking to you, but then it's like you don't know who they in association with and who's watching you. Mercury, because he was just talking about getting shadow banned, and you know what I'm saying, he was spitting on them in lodge and stuff like that. But he said some real shit though about like you know, they really do be watching content creators because they know that's where the world is right now. They don't have to, you know, there was always that talk of like Big Brother, like, oh, you know, saying they got cameras everywhere. People don't realize that we brought that we brought that into reality willingly. You thought the cameras was gonna be on the post, and they got them in the trees and all birds with cameras in them. They just put them on your phone and said, keep that shit on your pocket. Keep that on you. Audio, visual, yeah, keep that on. You gonna need a phone and a smart enough to hear your dumb ass. Know what I'm saying? Like, smart enough to hear your dumb ass talking. You know what I'm saying? Phone, TV, everything got a camera in it. You don't know what the fuck you getting. No, you get your car got cameras in it. You know what I'm saying? You get a Tesla, you got 5 at you at all times. You think it's, you know what I'm saying? It's different. You know, it's different. Right. You said, man, I'm just thankful to have a way to express myself and see y'all do the same. It's a huge push in the swing. Right. And likewise, and that's what, again, the purpose of community, because like I was saying about that book club example, time where it's like spiritually, like, you know, that building a community around people, it just helped, because that's how teamwork actually makes the dream work. Because we know 100% every day, you know what I'm saying, we are not 100%. We need one another, you know what I'm saying, especially at a certain point. It's like at a certain, again, it's all about catching shifts. There was shifts previously where it was about building a certain level of self-sufficiency. It was about being on your own and separating from this, separating from that. But times is changing. The new shit is like, you know, the realization that, holy shit, I need somebody, you know, I need this person. And it's not a dependency, because again, if you caught all the shifts, you already self-sufficient. But it comes a point with just nothing left to do by yourself, and nobody want to be in those situations where they got to do everything by themselves. It's like you want to lean on somebody, but know that they can also, you will be available to lean on them. But see, the problem is, because of so much trauma, it's hard for people to trust to lean, or trust to allow others to lean. And it's a relearning process. And that's a lot of what Chiron and Aries is a relearning process to even have the level of self-confidence to know that you can handle something like that. You know, but what makes it easier is knowing that we got the same common goals, dreams, or perspectives on changing the world. You know what I'm saying? As far as, you know, if you want to call it our spirituality or awareness or whatever. I guess it is it is really like awareness, you know, but it's just understanding the way they built them didn't allow a lot of space for that, you know. And you could tell by the way that they address their people. Like when you look at politics, we understand that politics at this point is really just entertainment. When you look at politics, you got to understand it from the perspective of, this is how they think they can relate to y'all. So when we see people like Kamala Harris showing her ass or something like that, like, or just saying some stuff, or how even back then, you know, there was that thing where Joe Biden was like, hey, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. Like, you got to really see, and just how, like, again, people you know losing their life, going through real things, and they talking about the golf swing. Like, this is how they see y'all. This is how they relate to y'all. So you can see what they built their world of, and which is why when we jump into the world, you see the people who fall short in these energies, the people who become cutthroat type of people that you just like, oh, that's a bot, a human robot. Like, you are worthless. Like, you know what I'm saying? As far as like not trying to help nobody, just going along, trying to police everything, you know, being intelligent, doing, you know what I'm saying, causing more difficulty and confusion in the world by the way you're presenting yourself, chasing after something, trying to be something, you know, the ways y'all see the common folk go about life. That's how you know, oh, that's what they built. That's what a factory for that to be developed. He said, sometimes it feels like if you don't do it at all alone, you're not worthy of any circumstance. Right. And yeah, and that right there is like such a common misconception. It's like, you know, as it's like, because it kind of goes deep. Like I said, all that trauma, and see, things like this are being brought up too, because it's Leo season and we dealing with, again, that Pluto opposition. A lot of the energies are about ego types, you know, ego and vulnerability is like two sides of a coin. So whenever you in ego, right, is good for certain things, but it's not good for other things, like connecting, getting closer to things, you know, even establishing and building. Because if you think about it, Saturn is opposite the sun. To build something, it takes you to take your ego out of it. To create a system that works, you got to take your ego out of it. You feel me? And if you don't, it becomes, you won't be able to build nothing sufficient. Shout out to Stephanie. You won't be able to build nothing sufficient. But without a healthy ego, you won't, because you need alone time to develop who you are, to have a clearer vision for you. There's time, yeah, I'm gonna have to go off in the woods by myself to deal with some things, to talk to myself, to talk with God. You know what I'm saying? That's a very real energy. Sometimes I'm gonna have to dip out and be by myself. That's healthy. And that's what life was getting to this point. Because again, all of us on our spiritual path, there was alone times, alone moments where it was like, yo, we had nobody else, no example, nobody we could depend on, you know, trust. That's what I said. But doing all the things alone, it builds that level of trauma where it starts to become more comfortable to say, fuck it, I'm just gonna be alone, than to risk my vulnerability and give it out, and having that become something that now is another, you know, painful I gotta experience for what feels like no reason, or a waste of time, because that was the, you know what I'm saying, whatever the preconceived notion is of that's keeping you not just be vulnerable about something, you know. And again, easy stuff to say, but very difficult in practice, because we all pull back, you know what I'm saying. But like you said, it feels like and you know what though, it level of, when you do things alone, it's more valid. You know, that's the thing about doing it alone. That's why, like, when you start anything, you have to do it alone. There is no, can I piggyback off you and start level 10? Like, no, it's like that, all that type of energy, that put me on energy, that shit falls short. Because if you don't, there's so many things in that process of being alone with something and doing it for the first time yourself. So many things you go through that develop as mental material, knowing how to compose yourself. It's like you can tell person who went through those processes, when they present themselves to that point where they're around other people, the shit hits so much harder. You feel them, you can understand them on a level, because it's like the same thing as becoming well-rounded. They done went through so many thoughts and feelings, but made a choice. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you got to embrace it and be it, because when you make that choice, you sit. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yo, Diesel, I think I remember you, bro. You was here last time. You said you did. I don't know if it was you that dropped the joke. That was kind of funny. He said, "I'm offering a free joke to the chat." I know I'm getting distracted, y'all, but nah. It made me laugh a little bit. He said, "Why did witch get fired from a job? Because she couldn't spell." Yeah. That was kind of funny. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay, cool. He said it's the day show, so okay, yeah. A little sec. All right, cool. That was cool. That was cool. But getting back on point, you know what I'm saying? What we was talking about, like, yeah, embracing it and being it, going through it, and being in that energy. He said he just expressing himself, right? Like some Leo shit, right? He ain't hurt nobody, you know what I'm saying? So that's cool. That's cool. I like energy like that, where, people just want to, I know it's got to be war, but it's cool to have people in here, you know what I'm saying? Some cool shit. So when it comes to, what Equilibria said, okay, Cancer, that little Cancer on that cusp with Gemini, oh no, with Leo. Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, that's what's up. But, yeah, embodying it, because when you go through all those processes and those dark nights alone, you know what I'm saying, where again, God, and honestly, that's where you start to talk to God, because that be that moment where there is no, it's like how there is nobody giving you validation for nothing. There's no, there's nothing. It's just you and a choice. If there's anything that God did in the world, it just did it. You know how they say it was like, then there was light. God just did it. You know how light is. It's like, boom. So that choice that you make, regardless of everything around it, nothing matters. And that choice that you make, and then getting up and embodying that with your because that's like the internal side, making the choice. Every day you got this ideal vision for yourself. Boom. And then you get up in actual life and you do what it takes to get that. And some days you're going to do well. You're going to make 5, knock them out. Some days you're not going to make one song. Some days you're not even going to touch an instrument, because there's other things you had to go through. As long as you still come back to that shit and you make that time you wasn't touching the instrument useful by transmuting those experiences into your music or your art or whatever you do, you've made that time up unfold. That's what life is about. That's what I mean by, like, you got to live life, and then there's the art part. But again, sometimes you got to put the art down, conversation with somebody. Sometimes you got to put the, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying this just because Jay came through, but sometimes I got to put a tarot card down, put the astrology down, and go talk to that person. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Jay. Sometimes you got to put it down. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is that you're doing, like you said, experiences mold creativity. Exactly. The lack of creativity comes from you just needing to go out and live life a little bit. You know what I'm saying? The same thing, even when you are like, because that be me sometimes. Sometimes I'll be like, damn, I wish I could, do a video in advance. Like I could go through a whole week and say, oh, this is going to be the transit. This is going to be the transit. Like the Daystar, the Daystar reports I used to do. And I love doing them, and I know y'all love getting them, but it'd be tough, because it'd be like some days I gotta shut the fuck up and live and experience it. And so, like, I can't get up that morning and get that shit out. I would love to do that shit in advance, package it up, and I probably could. I do some shit like that, but to me, it ain't feel real. It's like you wake up and the day is the day. Some days you on, some days I don't know. I don't know. I'm about to hit the J, and I'm about to just walk outside. I think me and God need to have a conversation, because something just ain't, and I gotta get it right. You know what I'm saying? So it'd be real life and stuff like that. That's the beauty of it. You know, you say real shit, talk that shit. Yeah, right, exactly. Y'all, you feel me? So you know, and that be the thing. You know, but that's why I love this shit. Cause, and when I say I love this shit, I love life for what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause shit, it's an experience. You feel me? Neptune is right. You know, and so you know, get back to the astrology and shit. Like I said before, that opposition we got with Neptune, Saturn, and shout out to Solo Rebel. That the opposition we got with Mercury. You know, Mercury, and Saturn and Pisces with your no, not Uranus, I'm tripping. Saturn and Pisces and Neptune and Pisces. You know, this is what's gonna be. This is gonna be kind of like the pivotal moments, but we're gonna be rethinking a lot of the things and ways we was going about. He said, unfortunately, I'm solo in NY. Hey, I got family in NY. I gotta make a trip out there, so you know, we gotta do something. You know what I'm saying? Cause the beats, man, the beat. I'll take him out for the beats. He's got the beats, but for the most part, when it comes to and Millionaire out there on, I gotta do that. That's, man, son in my ninth house, so I'm thinking about travel too, man. I'm like, I need a trip, man. I gotta, but we're gonna figure something out. But for the most part, like I was saying, that opposition is gonna be the kind of like a major theme. You know, rethinking dreams entirely, rethinking the way we're going about reality entirely. You know, we need to recalibrate, you know, what's the best route, and again, reassess what's not working. You know, Leo season pride vibes in here today. Yeah, you feel it. Yeah, my moon activated. You know, too much pride. You know, so you gotta be careful. But it is a time to be part of who you are. I think that we gotta balance it with not being too obsessed and not being overly celebratory about who we are, though. Like, love who you are, be proud of that shit, but don't make it something that has to be, you know what I'm saying, don't use that to attack. Don't use that to be your face card. Face card got to be your actual face card. You know what I'm saying? But how you feel about yourself, that's great. Keep that as fuel. Keep that, like Bacoby was saying, and Pedro was, keep that as fuel to keep you going every day. Really, you need to get tucked for when you having those days I was just talking about, where you don't got enough steam to get up and do that thing. But that's what you really need to use pride for. You know, I was at work one day. He said, I'm in the Lions family, right? Oh yeah, right. Right, that too. Going too deep. But that reminds me though. I had one of my coworkers. We was you know, like, so he came in and I'm telling him, like, you know, okay, this is what we got to get done today. And then, you know, he was like, all right, cool. Cause I work with, like, I be mentoring people each day. You know, some days it'd be the same people, but this was a new dude. So, you know, I was telling him, okay, this is on the list. This is what we're going to knock out. And the dude was hella big. And, you know, it's different because this is like a regular ass job. So it was like, damn, like, I was like, okay, you hype. And he was like, yeah, man, you know, got to take pride in something. And the way he said that shit, I was like, that's some real, like, you got to take pride in something. And it kind of goes back to what I was saying in that last live. Like, when you working that little bullshit job or you doing that little bullshit thing that's kind of feeling like it's keeping you from doing your thing, bro, like, if you know, even anything you do, how they say how you do one thing, how you do other things, take some pride in some shit. Sometimes, you know, I don't know, like, you know, having pride in what you do, even when you make art and stuff, like, especially when you make art, have pride in that shit. It might not look shiny like how, again, these other artists might do it, the artists you look up to might do it, and it might not be what you even imagined in your head, because again, our imagination is so much more potent than what we even have access to. You know, very few people get to the level of skill to get what's in their mind out. And even I bet there's challenge and things that they wish they could expand on and do better and do differently. We all go through that. But have pride in what you actually able to do, because if you take pride in that, it's gonna keep you doing it consistently. Like kind of like the equivalent of I think it was Mooney who was saying, he was saying about like something, if you don't really something, you do it as consistently. I forgot what he said. You know what I'm saying? I forgot what he said, but he was like, if you don't do this, you can't do it consistently. Into one of these other energies. I think it was one of the fixed energies. But if I add to that, it'd be like that. It's like pride is like the Leo version of that same energy. If you don't got pride in what you're doing, then you're not gonna be consistent with it. Done. Even if it is that little bullshit job, if you still got a goal to use that job for something, you know what I'm saying? Still take pride. Like, you gotta spend time there, so do what you can. You ain't gotta bust your ass and do too much for that job, but while you there, be proud to be you. And again, you on that level of whatever artist you are, have pride being at that level. Like, yo, I'm just starting out. Oh yeah, that's me. Like, I'm just starting out. I'm the new kid on the block. Like, let's go. You know what I'm saying? Like, have pride in that. Yeah, right. And sitting that good feeling, right? Because that's fueled, and that's what you keep for a rainy day. When you having a good day and stuff like that, you don't need to throw it in everybody's face and be like, I'm this. Keep that on tuck. That's the day you need to actually tap in or lock in, how they be saying, lock in and go to work. You know what I'm saying? Almost like jumping on Saturn, like reverse it real quick. And then on days where you feel like Saturn and it's heavy, I am the shit. You know what I'm saying? I am the shit. I do this. Boom, boom, boom. And that's how you build yourself up and keep equilibrium with it. That'd be the biggest problem. When people be in one energy, they want to go overdose on that one energy. So when people feeling good, they want to feel good forever. That's something that just is natural. But natural on a physical level, because the spirit always gonna be like, this too comfortable, this too this, let's change this, let's change that. I don't know what happened. I think just being down here and shit like that, the way the mind was built here, it loves to be still. It loves to be in Earth is all in, and that's where the kind of clash comes from, with the balance between spiritual and the physical. It's like everything in this world is about time and patience and grounded something and spending time, getting comfortable, secure. But the spirit is always creating, so it's always in chaos. It's always gonna spark something that's gonna throw things off this way, off that way, sometimes in your favor if you know what you're doing, and sometimes not. Even if you do know what you're doing, sometimes you gotta throw it left field and just shake shit up for a second. Wait a minute. Oh, this is what I'm, saying, just so you can come back to yourself. But yeah. But getting back to the moon and Taurus, like I said, so sextile in that energy in Pisces, it's gonna be it sits right in between Mars and what's on the other side, Aries. So on one side of the moon is things you're trying to heal, things you're trying to grow through, past mistakes, Chiron like things, and your North Node. So in order to keep going, I gotta get through this. But at this very moment, everything seems to be triggering a lot of these attention towards how uncomfortable I do feel on stage, and how uncomfortable I do feel about expressing this, and how uncomfortable I feel about how I'm seen. But the question is, are we still gonna pursue that? Are we still gonna move in that fashion? Or are we gonna let that become the reason why we become haters in Libra season or something like that? Like, oh, this is why nobody else could be able to do anything. This is why I gotta tear the whole thing down. Like, no, take me out of everything. I don't want to be a part of nothing. That's gonna, like, what I'm saying, by getting your feelings hurt in Leo season, that could become what you start to do. What I'm saying? Just based upon not understanding the energy at the moment, not wanting to go through that little energy. On the other side of that moon, the moon in Taurus, is that Mars energy along with Jupiter. So it's like we're trying to expand how we even are looking at our experience at the moment, and we're trying to we got to kind of low-key talk through it. You know what I'm saying? We got to talk through it. We got to go through it, experience it, but then be willing to have that conversation. Or it's like being willing to be wrong, you know what I'm saying? Or being willing to not understand, being curious about it, you know, enough to speak up about it and inquire about it, analyze it. You're already thinking about it. So it's like that thinking. And then again, having Mercury in Virgo, that's a square in of itself. So that's going to start to become, you even learning how to think about certain things better, because it's like how you're thinking about it now, you're more so worried about it. But Mars is kind of looking at it like, okay, well, if this is involving passion, whatever's going internally that's not working, I'm going to have to learn how to communicate it, because that's really the square between Gemini and Virgo. Virgo is more like thinking internally, whereas Gemini is just getting it out, explaining it. Now, sometimes Gemini leaves out details. And so, again, passion, aggression. If you're speaking at such a rate, but you're not catching the details, that's a clash. You know what I'm saying? That's going to become a learning process of how that friction wasn't the right type of friction, or vice versa. You know, let's say you go through a learning process where by trying to communicate and articulate what you frustrated about or what you passionate about, you actually do develop a understanding, a firm understanding about the details. So now you're communicating and you have now the help of others to either adjust and critique what your ideas are so that they can become better, or, you know, they in agreement with what you are saying and they're like, oh, okay, I see how I can add my piece onto this and I can help out with you, or vice versa, you helping me out. So it's a mutual gain. You said my moon is in Taurus. So what does this mean for those who had that placement? You said, oh, with your actual moon in Taurus? Well, you already going through the square with Leo. So that's really, you know, so you're already going through the square with Leo. So this is already an uncomfortable time for you in general. But being at the moon, like, cause it's the sun. So it's kind of like you're not going to feel, you might not feel comfortable expressing everything at the moment that you really want. Like you might be like still a little timid, you know what I'm saying? Because moon in Taurus is like you keep your gifts to yourself. It's like an internal thing, you know what I'm saying? Or it's like again, and the moon is super comfortable there, but expressing yourself, unless you really comfortable about what it is you have to offer to the world, you might not be first to express that right now. But you might not be first to express that, period. But right now though, you might feel a little more, depending on if you able in what it is that you're doing at the moment, depending on what house you got it on. Like, if you feel stable and secure, you're gonna be more willing to express yourself, but still it's gonna be a learning process, but you'll be on the better side of energy. If you trying to express, if you still kind of unsure and you still not all the way self-confident or self-assured, then how you express yourself is like, you know, you might choose not to. You might overcompensate on the Taurus energy and keep to yourself, you know. And then this kind of goes along with what I was even saying with you know, Mercury and he said internal value, right, you know. But see, with Mercury and Virgo, this is us this is kind of like you looking in that mirror and kind of like having a magnifying glass and really looking at your value systems and being like, oh, okay, is this really that? Is this really stable and secure? And that's going to cause a little worry, you know what I'm saying? Because this could be a little worrying time internally, and that might make you want to withdraw. But, you know, just remember that even when you withdraw, though, still part of it is learning how to maybe communicate it or learn how to lighten it and think about it in a way where you don't have to, you know what I'm saying, you don't have to drag yourself down all the way. You know what I'm saying? You can kind of still, because it's the end of the day, the sun is in Leo. So we still have to make it look like we're willing to express ourselves. See, things naturally around you going to play out in ways where we got to express it. But the question is, are you going to express it honestly, or are you going to express it false based upon you trying to feel comfortable? You know, and that's the thing about Taurus right now. It's like there's things that got to be expressed, but do I hold it dear to me and let it pass and try to be passive, or because I'm overthinking about it and I don't know if it's right or wrong, or you know what I'm saying, Virgo going crazy and it's making me feel more comfortable with not saying nothing, but something needs to be said, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's like that type of energy. Whereas, and think about it like this, See, when the moon goes into Gemini, it's going to be easier to communicate. But if you didn't set certain values or boundaries, maybe with the moon in Taurus, like you didn't expect certain things that was more so friction based and maybe conflicting as far as your value. Because think about it like this. You just want to be agreeable, even though inside you know that somebody is kind of crossing boundaries on your values and what you see. You let it pass. And Gemini, they gonna run that idea that you cool with crossing that boundary. So that sextile comes on with Leo and Gemini is gonna be them fast at the mouth about certain things that crossing your values. And if you continue to let it build, because again, that's another communicating energy. If you let that moon and Gemini square Mercury and Virgo still keep you silent, you know what I'm saying? Then boom, it's gonna get to a point where you might blow up by the time when we get to the next energy. You know what I'm saying? Jackie said you're gonna see how much you actually take pride in what you value. Exactly. Like, because it's gonna get to a point. He said Sun and Venus and Leo don't care so much about Taurus energies right now. Yeah, but Taurus is important though for Leo. He said I had to play that energy out very quick. He said, yeah, I feel you though. But yeah, you said Sun and Venus and Leo don't care so much about Taurus. And see, I'm glad you brought up Venus too, because even with Venus, like Venus is all about the look right now. But see, Venus is being challenged by the moon and Uranus, and yeah, moon and Uranus. Yeah, because with Venus squaring with Venus yeah, Venus in my bad, Venus and Leo squaring the moon currently. That's kind of like energies of, again, you already having to learn how to feel. It's almost like I was saying before, right? Leo is the look, but the value behind it is being questioned. The sustainability behind it is being questioned. Yeah, this might look pretty, but is it valuable? Is it real? The gold, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, yeah, your wrist is shiny, but are those gemstones or is that like a real diamond? Because that matters. You know what I'm saying? Like the quality of it. You know what I'm saying? If I shake it, are one of the rhinestones gonna fall off? Or is that real? You know what I'm saying? If I put the little, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the question of it. So even when it comes to the things we love and appreciate and value, like this one of them test of time energies where it's like, okay, it's being tested, it's being seen. So it was all pretty and shiny, but the value of it, do both value it? Is it valuable? You know, whatever it is you in a relationship with, you know. It said, look at people on holiday ready to overpay on anything for Leo's sake. Right. Don't care what it is. You know what I'm saying? And that's that. Yeah, Venus, it looks shiny. But again, determine, you can look at like that example. If they spending on something that has actually valued them, then they made a good investment. Versus people who's paying that attention, paying all that money to something that they just got for the look. Or it just looked shiny. It looked like something everybody else I knew was doing. It looked like something that would make me look good. I did it. I got it. Bad investment. Turned out to not actually be something I value. I got it just because this person valued it. And I wanted to be valued in their eyes. But they not even valuing me. So now, you know what I'm saying? That's a way it could play out. You got to really think about, and that's part of expressing yourself. Because again, it might feel like, oh, well, I'll just keep this to myself. You know what I'm saying? I won't say that. I won't bring this to attention. But then it's like, again, your values is being ignored now. So whether or not it can sustain, you know, because again, you got to put it to the test. If it can sustain, then good. Then it's actually valuable. But if it can't sustain, well, good thing you're sure of your investment before you got too involved. You know what I'm saying? Make sure, at least you made sure and you tested it, you know. So Venus is being challenged. What you was seeing was pretty, but what you got into it, did it actually hold the same value? And then that kind of translates to any area of life. But Venus is also, you know what I'm saying, Venus is also squaring Uranus. You know what I'm saying? So that's also changes, like radical changes when it comes to what we once valued based upon what we value, based upon what we really value. You know, it looked like this, it looked like something to value, but what I really value is this. And so there might be a rebelling or opposing against what once looked good, you know, or what once had the good look. You know what I'm saying? And that's a healthy thing, because even in that rebellion, it's either going to bring about innovation on a new way to go about how you love, express love, or relate and value things. It can come about a whole new innovative energy where y'all can create something. You know what I'm saying? It becomes something innovative. You know, he said, how do you feel as a Pisces during this Leo season, knowing Pisces ruler is exalted in Leo? Is the exaltation real? Do you see it around? I guess you might judge best. You know, and then Mutable God say, I feel confident and sure about my decisions. Hey, I agree. Because, like, well, I'll say it like this, right? As a Pisces during Leo season, how I personally feel about it, I'll say this. With the Pisces energy, the Leo energy is cool because, and it's going to be different for me because my moon is in Leo. But I say how I see it, like, or how Pisces energies kind of interact with it. It's a way of, you know, because Pisces is just this kind of like creative flow. It's kind of like it can kind of take the shape and form of what it needs to. When Leo is presented, Leo is the sun. It's where the sun is home. So that's where that Neptune exaltation becomes like exactly like mutable guy was saying, where you start to embody that sun feeling. So depending on the type of individual you are, it's gonna feel like you can actually take that Pisces energy that's all flowy and wrap it around the sun itself. So it's like everything can shine through in a much more like streamlined way. But that don't mean, like, at the same time, you got to be sure of who you really are, because it's kind of like that. If you confident in who you are, that shit can go. You know what I'm saying? And again, you'll have experiences that back and support what you confident about in the form of you expressing it. So if it's creative or not, you know what I'm saying? But if you don't really know who you are and you expressing yourself, you'll start to see how what you thought you wasn't really that. And that's where that exaltation in Neptune is played out, where on a positive end, yeah, I can see it in the form of, because I really am this, when I express it, it looked like supreme creativity. I even feel more creative in my own space. I'm more confident in my decisions. It's like, yeah, that's exactly what Mutable got said. Yeah, I guess, yeah, he was on point, because it really is that, like, I'm hella, yeah, this is it, you know. But and that's not even a comfortable feeling though. That's not to say, oh, I feel good. It's like, it kind of feels like a heightened pressure, because it's like the dream is so real now that every move I make is like a decision. And you know, once you make a decision, there ain't no going back on it, because that's now what has been put in play. So it's a very like serious energy too. Saturn there too. But at the same time, like, and then on the negative end of that Neptune exaltation is like, you see oh, like, if I were to express something and it wasn't truly me, I could see where the experience, the character disconnect, or even past things, I say, past ways I might have expressed myself, that now I could see from that exaltation of Neptune, the reason I was getting that reaction was because, oh, that character wasn't actually in alignment. So it created a delusion. I thought I was this, but I expressed myself like this. So it led to other things playing out in a way that was less in my favor. And again, that's like from a Pisces sun perspective, but even in everybody's life, it's forms of that playing out because of Saturn being in Pisces, where the way you would just flip on expressing, flip that to how you was building reality, or what you thought was real about the dream. You know, you thought the dream was gonna look like this, and it looked like that all the way up until this energy for some reason. And then we hit, and it's gonna get worse and worse as we get closer to the retrograde in Mercury retrograde in Virgo. But that's not to scare you, not the end of the world. That's actually to help you readjust, because it's like, again, you might think you got to throw the whole thing away, and it's never that, it's hardly that serious. I won't say never, it's hardly that serious. A lot of times it's just being open and willing to change some key points, but not taking it so personal that you make it about yourself and you get too much in your ego to where you don't want to change because, oh, I like that make me feel good to embody this character. And that's where that Neptune go too far. That's where that Leo energy go too far. Oh, it feel good to be seen like this. I love being on stage because I just want the attention. But it's like, that's where Taurus come in and be like, but what is the value? What is your people getting from this? Is you just getting a check at the end of the day and the flowers at your feet? Or are you giving your audience a show? Are you giving them a reason to, again, are you giving them their money's worth? Or, and again, and you could look at it in the theater analogy. They coming to your show, funding you, buying your tickets and throwing flowers at your feet, giving you attention, right? But you didn't prepare no real show for them. You don't remember none of your lines. The light don't work. You know what I'm saying? You tripping on stage. You didn't do no practice. Hey, shout out to Metro the Wizard and Benjamin. What up, dog? But you know, you didn't give them no show. You took their money. You was a scam. You're a scam artist. And you might get away with it once, but eventually you gonna, it's like that's foul. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you develop enemies, and then, you know what I'm saying, all these other things. He said Zay had a thing about D&D. Don't know if he was referencing the game, but I just heard key points. Oh yeah. Right, key points, right. D&D. Oh man, I gotta ask him about that. I wish he was back in here. We might have to talk about that. That's funny. But yeah, key points. He said, which basically amongst stash of power. Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's kind of like what we was talking about earlier. You know, kind of embellishing, like when you take that pride energy, or when you take that good feeling about what you doing, and you save that for a rainy day. Yeah, because it's all that's like forms of alchemy and all that, because it's really just understanding these things. And when one chakra is getting too pleased, sometimes you got to redirect that energy so you don't waste it all, because you be spending so much in one chakra and then you experience so much. Like, it's almost like kind of how, you know, a roller coaster, and you go up high, you gotta come down that hard, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, at the same time, you gotta like learn how to balance your own spirit out to where you more so doing like this, instead of having these dramatic ass highs and lows. I got so excited and then so depressed. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, you really gotta work on, everybody gotta work on keeping that shit. That way you can use energy when you want it. Like, I can choose when I want to be excited, and that's like a more disciplined use of internal energy, thoughts and feelings. Even like, I can develop feelings that can get me in that space to be excited, and then I can switch that up and turn it into feelings to get me frustrated when I need to address something that's not working in my life, or like when I need to change a behavior, I could switch this. And you know, that's like a mastery level of inner alchemy and stuff like that, when you really get to that point. Because it's like, and you understand why that's important, because the more you understand about, you know, monitoring your states of being, you understand, oh, it's all about being intentional. You know, it's all about being intentional. Better wizard with my energy, so that I can manifest more things in my favor than not. You know, that takes a level of focus, awareness even. You know what I'm saying? When we talk about being aware shit, it's really just having that awareness is like having a large arsenal of spiritual weapons you can pull out at any time. So no matter what kind of demon you face, I got something for you. I got something for you. I'm saying, like Kevin Hart, gun compartment. You know what I'm saying? Gun compartment. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Every little inch and cranny of your space, you got a gun there. You like say, I see you. You know what I'm saying? Little demon, boom. Because we in that type of world. We in that type of world. You got to be prepared for anything. I done seen shit change right before my eyes. Gun compartment. You know what I'm saying? You never know. You never know. He said Jupiter exalted in Cancer. Yep. Neptune exalted in Leo. Yep. He said, I appreciate you too, man. Shout out to all y'all. I appreciate y'all. But yeah, you know, so that's something, that's what's going on right now. It's just a lot of frustrating energies, you know, a lot of frustrating energies causing you to ask questions about what it is you really doing. You know, what direction are you really going in? And you just got to check in with yourself and be honest. Shout out to Famous Malo. You know what I'm saying? You got to be honest with yourself and, again, express it or transmute it into something creative, because that's what Leo does too. So, you know, put it into something creative, but don't use that as escape, because at the same time, Saturn retrograde in Pisces, it still is trying to get us to create the reality instead of create the escape. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it got arcane as fuck. Yeah, exactly. Arcane as fuck. Right. You know what I'm saying? Flaming sword everywhere. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just anywhere, pull it out. So, you know, you really got to be, again, I kept saying, like, Flaming Sword season back in Gemini season. Like, that was all of the stuff we going now. We have to have the mental capacity to jump into these worlds when we need to and do what we got to do, because without it, you know, you're not really going to, you're not, you know, say if you didn't really develop certain thought forms back then, now it's going to be a little harder to do. It's still possible, but you know, right now it's more about expressing than it is thinking about it. So if you still got to think about it, you already a little behind, right? And honestly, you shouldn't try not to see Mercury in Virgo is going to make it hard to do this. But again, like I said before, Mercury in Virgo, especially in retrograde, it brings a lot of worry to you, but that worry gets a fire under your ass to change. It's trine in Uranus. So it's like change is on your mind. You know it's got to change, and you can either lean into it or run away from it. You know what I'm saying? So that worry, use it as, again, it's just the same thing. All emotions are like fuel. That's why, like, when you really going about your day, you got to think sometimes. Like, this is how your man will lead your woman, right? You gonna feel what you feel. That's information. That's good shit. But at some, you gotta think, are these feelings gonna get me to what goals I set out today? Or is it more important to just sit with my feelings? Because that's real too. Where your mind gotta say, yo, the decision. Like, if there's things just like, yo, I got A, B, and C on my agenda today, and I know that I got to get those done. I just gotta get those done. Are these feelings gonna get done? No. And you gotta choose. That's the choice you gotta get. If when you say, okay, these feelings is not gonna get me that achievement, and not gonna get that done for me, and this could be simple. This is simple stuff, like get your ass to work so you can pay the bills. You know, get up and do something. You know, it could be whatever it is that's on your list. It could be post a video. You know, it could be just, maybe you trying to read a book, or maybe I'm trying to eat a certain way. Whatever it is, if you feeling a certain way, that's all that's really gonna, that's the fuel you got. So if the fuel you giving yourself isn't enough, isn't sufficient to get to those goals, you're gonna have a bad day. You're gonna fall short. That's a call to action to change how you feel about it. I might not like it, but I got to change my feelings in order to get me those things knocked off my list. Or sometimes your man, right, got to say, fuck what I think. I need, this is necessary to feel. So if these goals I got on my plate, or what I was going to do today, wasn't as important, say you wanted to do something that involved, like, again, it could be you. Let's say you're trying to make a song or something like that. But let's say certain things are kind of just, you're going through that you still got to, like I was saying before, I got to live life a little bit. I got to sit with those feelings a little bit. I got to meditate, a dark room or something like that. I got to take a spiritual bath real quick today. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't got to be the whole day, but sometimes your mind got to say, well, let me feel this so that I can heal this shit. Like, let me feel this shit so I can just go through it. because sometimes that's what's necessary. Sometimes that's what we need at the moment. That's just quiet time with the feelings. You know what I'm saying? And that's where your mind, again, your man's still leading and making that decision to say, I'm a choose to not stress about some of the things I might have wanted to do on the surface. I need to tend to what's going on internally, because again, even on your best day, if your internal's not together, nothing is going to get done. So you can't ignore the internal, always make decisions to get the goals done. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. You can't always just live internal. Sometimes you got to get out of that and get things done in the world. He said, it's funny because I had to catch myself in the midst of my emotions begin to feel agitated dealing with a passenger at work today. Breathe, work, turning. He said breath work turning into knowing the real root cause of it. Right. Exactly. Like, and that's a good thing of something in the moment, because it's like, that's the thing right now, especially still sensitive energies. You know what I'm saying? Cancer and Leo is somewhat one of the same. You know, still sensitive energies. It's just people are louder about it. It's an extra level of having to be like, wait a minute, you know, before I get loud too, and we all about to, you know, cut a, you know what I'm saying, bite each other. Let me, you know what I'm saying. And sometimes it is you having to fight fire with fire. Go with it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's that. But again, like you said, knowing the root cause of it is always beneficial, because now you know, like, oh, wait, it might not have been something about what's going on right in front of me. It's something that I would totally other, like, kind of, I was saying this earlier in the live, but something in a whole other house going on that's actually getting me to feel this way in this moment, when I don't actually have no play in this. This is going to be another experience that point me back to. So I might as well just go to the root and avoid the drama. Like, that's how you avoid drama in Leo season. You just go to the root. Don't just stay at the surface of what's frustrating you, because you're just going to create more strings and stuff like that. But yeah, that's a lot of what's going on right now. It's like, you know, we all kind of, you know, that's what we facing right now, and we having to address these things. The moon being trine in the North Node as well. Like, that's the whole like, you know what I'm saying? He said, nice one, Metro, good self-control, congrats. Right. But yeah, moon trine in the North Node. It's like everything right now, we know very well what it's going to take to change. Pluto is 0 degrees Aquarius right now, so it's right there on that cusp with Capricorn. And so along with character, we do feel this other energy of like status and what we're known for, and, you know, needing to take power over that. You know, but this is part of it, you know, part of your expression and how you go about it. That kind of determines your status, you know. And a lot of us are seeing ourselves in certain statuses that we're trying to maybe break free from, because everybody is changing. And this being the heart of the summertime, it's like we feel that time clock, because we know Virgo around the corner. Now we got time, you know what I'm saying? We got more than, you know, we got what, about 25 days, but still we feel that time clock. So we get to the new moon in Leo. You know, the new moon in Leo gonna be that time that actually, you know, when lights go on, and it's lights, camera, action time. Right now is like we behind the scenes, like we hear the crowd, you know what I'm saying, they done in and stuff like that. So we hear the crowd, we in the changing room, we in the mirrors, like, okay, this the expression, is this my expression? Okay, hold on, like, my straight, you know what I'm saying, I got the outfit, I got the, you know what I'm saying, I got the props, got all my props. Leo, okay, it's showtime, boom. And then that transit is putting in that work, expressing ourselves, expressing truth, boom, boom, boom. Full moon in Aquarius. Full moon in Aquarius, again, are you satisfied with your uniqueness? Are you satisfied with your community, though? Are you satisfied with the people in the audience? Are you satisfied with the people who came out to watch you? You know what I'm saying? Are they satisfied with you? You know what I'm saying? Did you give them a good show? You know? And so that's going to be kind of a test in and of itself. Yeah. But, yeah, it's going to be cool, though. You know, just stay strong with it. You know what I'm saying? Right now, it's like, you just got to stay strong with it, stay consistent with whatever it is that you do. And, yeah, I appreciate y'all coming out. You know what I'm saying? We beyond astrology, beyond that everyday bullshit, beyond everything, you know what I'm saying? Appreciate y'all. Yeah, I got some things very soon. I just want to go ahead and drop it, so I ain't gonna talk too much about it, but yeah, I appreciate y'all coming through. Hope y'all have a great day. Enjoy the energies. Like I said, don't be scared of them. Just go through it, express it, and then you know, move accordingly. You know what I'm saying? Much love. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.